So DealCheck is really great app to analyze deals. I love it and I use it most of the time. I pay $16 a month for it. So when you come in, you have your properties and you can create rental analysis, BRRRR analysis, flips, and wholesales. And they have different features for each. So on here, you can set up your account first to say, okay, here's my criteria. So for example, I have a rental template and then it will have, okay, every time you're going to select the down payment. This is going to be my interest rate. So you preset your preferences. So when you create a property, it pulls it in automatically. So that is one of my favorite ones. So next video, I'll talk about how to create a property. So whenever you want to analyze a deal with DealCheck, you will come in here and then you can do import property data. And so what you do is, let's just do the address of a property that I am in the process of buying. So here it searches for the property in Zillow. It brings over all the information. It even gives you a rent estimate and all the information from the listing. So you would do save, and then from here you're going to change your facts. So this is the purchase price, is that the same? Then you're going to say, okay, my interest, what is it? If it's different, otherwise it's going to be the default. Rehab cost, rent, so you can edit this. So in this specific property, the rent as is $14.60, and then my vacancy rate is always 10%. And then here I'm going to true this up to my quotes, and then we're going to update. I usually true up real estate tax because my tax is not going to be the same as the previous owners who bought it a long time ago. I always use 5%, 10% for property manager. That's what they charge me. 10% for maintenance reserves, and for capital expenditures, 5%. So once I input all the data in here, then I'm just going to hit here, and it's going to analyze my monthly cash flow. So based on this, my property will cash flow $300 a month. And then what it does towards the end, it gives me like a little cash flow analysis, and then it analyzes all the ratios, and then it tells me if it passes my rule, right? So you usually set these rules on your purchase criteria, but you can actually edit it and say, okay, these are my criteria. This is what I'm looking for. So on here, this one is, it's a go. Now, let's say I know that this property is going to eventually make me $2,400. But I gotta put rehab cost of $30,000. So what does that look like? You see, 18%, 953 of monthly cash flow. I'm gonna need $60K for it. So one of the things that I really like about the DealCheck is the comps, sales comp, and rental comps. Usually for multifamily it doesn't work that well, but for example for rental comps, you kind of get, these are all like the Zillow listings, and it would show you like based on the distance you can select, and it will tell you here these are the properties and the rent prices, and it helps you come up with your estimated rent. So this is really cool, and I like that instead of having to deal with my realtor or looking at them somewhere else. And then they have the sales comps as well. So like for example, you'll try to find something comparable Usually for multifamily, it's not that great, but at least for single family homes, it works fine. Like, look at this one, property sales comps. So it'll tell me, the properties that sold, and then you can actually open this and see additional data. Bear with me. You see, like, all the information, and you can even see pictures. So it's a really nice feature, but this one's only available if you're paying. And you can even have. So on DealCheck, you can set up your criteria by going to settings. By going to purchase criteria, and you can say, okay, here my criteria for rentals is this. And so remember, if you read my analyzing deals, you would know a lot of these things here. So the 1% rule, they even give you a definition. Making sure that your rent to value is 1%. So if your property is $100K, you would want to make at least $100 a month of net cash flow. Then you can have your 50% rule, and it also gives you the definition here, which is really great. Basically, you just want to make sure that your property will not have expenses higher than 50% of the revenue. Then you also want to make sure that if you want at least 150 a month or 200 or whatever it is, and then how much you want to make per unit, what's your cash on cash return, and it's pretty cool because it like defines this criteria for you. So it just makes it a lot easier, I think, even for somebody that's new. The one thing that I also love, and I'm going to talk about it in the next video, is comps.